Justice! And when do we want it? Now! And if we don't get it,
it's almost been a year since Freddie Gray was arrested and subsequently died in police custody, and advocates from Baltimore are again demanding change in the state capital, Annapolis. A current measure pending approval makes changes to the Law Enforcement Officers' Bill of Rights, adding civilians to the internal police review boards that review allegations of misconduct. The measure has been strongly opposed by the law enforcement lobby and police unions. But critics say some form of civilian oversight and participation is necessary to hold police accountable and stop abuse. Even before Freddie Gray died in police custody, The Sun exposed the city had settled over 100 lawsuits to a tune of nearly $6 million in cases of alleged abuse where the accused rarely faced internal discipline or criminal charges.
In Baltimore, Maryland, we have these police trial boards that when a police commits accused of wrongdoing, and it doesn't become a criminal issue, you have the issue of suspension and potential termination. It all happens internally. It's a very not opaque, very shadowy process. And the worst part of it is that it's all done with cops making the final decision as to whether another police officer should be suspended or fired. And our argument is that this bill that's calling itself police reform has to ensure that as our tax dollars pay for policing and as policing is a public good, the community is substantively involved in the process of determining whether the way policing is done is appropriate for the community. And the clearest manifestation of that would be ensuring and mandating that we actually have non-police officers, people from the community that's aggrieved, on these internal police trial boards. Because as we know, a lot of accused police wrongdoings does not enter the criminal system, even if it should. And the biggest deterrent to wrongdoing would be having a meaningful shot on these police trial boards that if a cop does do something wrong, they're going to be held accountable and they're going to be suspended. And we're trying to get that language attached to this larger Senate bill.
After the rally at City Hall, advocates were set to travel to Annapolis, the state capital, to lobby state representatives to ensure a civilian presence on the review board was mandatory.
Most people do not trust the system enough to believe that if, for instance, a police chief has the option of appointing citizens to a internal hearing board or trial board, that it will ever happen. Most people don't feel that that'll happen, and there's a very good reason. If you look at Baltimore alone, a police chief, even well-meaning, has to deal with the FOP, which is a very, very powerful institution. So it's quite possible that in having to negotiate collective bargainings and all the other things, the FOP could put so much pressure on the chief of police that they just couldn't do it if they wanted to. So you can't count on the chief of police, or you can't count necessarily on having to ask somebody to do the right thing. If the law is there, we know they'll do the right thing.
But in its current form, the police chief or the mayor would choose these members anyway from the public, right? So aren't they going to pick people that are going to be more police?
Well, the fact of the matter is this: I think that can be dealt with. I mean, we can certainly, when I say we, what I mean is the local community organizations have the ability to put pressure on the mayor, the city council, et cetera, to help to steer this process in the right direction as to who gets picked.
State Delegate Jill Carter told The Real News Republican Governor Larry Hogan escorted delegates out of chambers out of concerns for protests.
The fundamental issue is that people in Baltimore want to have citizen involvement and police discipline. And the fact that people are fearing protest and all those things, like on one hand they should be, because the people want transformation. They want the laws to change, they want reforms, they want these dynamics, these structural dynamics to change over time, and people are moving too slow. And so now, but it's like manufacturing all this hype and all this negative energy around activism and organizing. They should be embracing that. They should be talking to us consistently about how to engage people who want to protest. But the thing is, what we're here for, we're just making a statement. We're going to Annapolis, being present to show them that they can't just pass laws without community involvement and community engagement and community power. So ultimately, it's kind of silly, because it's not like we're planning to do anything violent. Like, I think it's just another instance of politicians manufacturing this narrative of the violent, angry black protester to suit their own political ends.
And this wouldn't be this kind of reaction if the FOP was having a rally or sending people down there.
And they got guns, right? It's like, that's the police. But most of that, but that's like you said, it's one of those things where the dynamics, because we live in a white supremacist society that poses people like us as angry, irrational people. Like, we've been working in Annapolis, going to the meetings, going to the committee rooms, being in there every day like lobbyists are, and no one talks about that work. But then as soon as we plan to do an action, now it's like we're removing people from chambers in fear of protest.
Does the police deserve the public's trust at this point? Or should people not trust the police, considering all their misconduct $5.7 million paid out in the last 5 years on the death of Freddie Gray, the death of other civilians. Shouldn't they have to earn that trust?
Absolutely. The people in Baltimore City do not. Clearly, when we talk about building trust, we're not talking about the police trusting the citizens. We're talking about the citizens trusting the police. Clearly, the citizens of Baltimore have valid reasons to mistrust the city, and to be honest, to mistrust the city council and the mayor because they're who are in control. So yes, I agree that that the people don't trust. It's clear the people don't trust city police, and they have to do everything they can to build that trust. And the best way to do it is meaningful civilian oversight.